Hello everyone, so my name is Bert and today we're talking about picture by kizu-e. She's did a good job, I think, because it's very colorful, it's nice and soft, and you have some really great gradients in there that I really liked. But I think we can do a bit about the flatness of the anatomy. So first we try to reform the skull. The skull is round, so you need to remember the back of your head because that's probably why it looks so flat. I changed the position of the neck area and the shoulders, and with the blonde girl I made actually I liked the way her skull and her neck was, but I relocated the collarbones and the shoulders to make it look a bit more natural. Mm, Here I started to do a bit with the shoulders because I thought it looked kind of weird. When drawing, please don't forget the guidelines because without the guidelines there are only very few people who can draw it perfectly, and if they do, then they probably have a lot more practice than you and me. So yeah, the eyes, because the skull is round, you have to remember that the eyes and the nose and the features in general wrap around the skull, and don't think of the face as a flat surface. So here I try to work with the body, chest area, and the hand because you ask for help with the hands. And what I do is generally when starting to draw, I give myself a lot of guidelines and try to figure out how everything connects. And that's why I made the canvas a bit bigger so that I have space for my guidelines. I made her fingers and her hands a bit thicker and a bit bigger to make it look more natural. Usually you can use as a reference that the hand is about as big as the space between your chin and your eyebrows. Yeah. When drawing, I do a lot of flipping and around because I like to check how things work. And if you always just draw from one side, then you sometimes don't see your mistakes. Here I'm trying to work with the pony and with the face and try to make it look soft. So I like to when I draw ponytails or some kind of more complicated hairstyles, then I like to use guidelines as well. But for this it was pretty straightforward. You just have one point of which the hair goes off, and then it flows down and wraps around the shoulder area. Now we start with the brunette lady. Like with her counterpart, you have to remember that the skull is round, and so you have to wrap her features around the skull, make it look not as flat. Yeah, triangle. I personally like it if when the nose is a bit bigger, so that you can actually see it, but it's more a personal choice. At least in anime style or manga style drawing. I thought she looked a bit older, so I gave her a bit more marked features. When drawing the ear, make sure that's big enough. It has around on the same guidelines as the eyes and the bottom of the nose. So yeah, her chest area was a bit flat in my opinion, so I made it a bit more round as well, a bit more three-dimensional. Here I'm working on the guidelines of the arm, so I can try to find a nice pose for the hand. I tried a lot until I was halfway happy with it. My idea with this was that the fingers and the hand point towards the camera, so I thought it looked more dramatic. But I kind of made a big mistake with that. We will talk about it later. Yeah, smile is better. Yeah, the thumb is on the wrong side. It's not on the right side. So that's why it looked so awkward. But at that time, I didn't notice. And I tried to redo it and redo it. As you can see, it looks kind of awkward. And here I try to find a pose for the thumb to make it more natural, but it just looks wrong because I could have flipped it, but at that point I didn't even think about that. So instead I erased everything and took a photo of my hand with my cell phone and then use this as a reference. This is important in my opinion, that when you have problems drawing something, you have to use references. That's not something dishonorable, it's just you have to do it. You can't draw things that you don't know how to draw. And for this, you have to look somewhere for guidelines. Yeah, I put in a bit of shadow because I wanted to make sure that people could see that the hand is tilted. Yeah. I often have problems with the thumb because it has one joint less than normal fingers, which makes it difficult to pose in my opinion. here I'm halfway happy with it. So now, yeah, because I thought it was a bit flat, I relocated the place for the collar, and after that I tried to make her hair a bit more flowy. And for this, it has to wrap around the forms of her, around her shoulder area, around her neck, and it has to be look a bit softer and less choppy, in my opinion. Yeah, that's here. I tried to make it look like the hair is lying on the shoulder, so that it looks more like it's actually three-dimensional. So yeah, that's it. Now, after drawing the two characters, I had a bit of fun with the owl. I'm not a big animal designer, but I like drawing owls because they're kind of cute and fluffy.